Hey guys, just wanted to jump on real quick and tell you first off, I think you did an awesome job on your first discussion board. I went through all of that today. I was super impressed. I can tell a lot of thought went into the responses to your initial response, but also to your responses to each other, and I really appreciate that. I'm going to go over each of the questions quickly. None of the answers were wrong by any stretch. I'll just go over and explain some of them. So the overall criteria, the first one basically is just asking evaluative standards that you would set to determine either a really excellent student or a poor student. So some other standards you could use are if they're showing up on time, the quality of their work, if they're following the directions, finding the resources that they're supposed to, if they're, to kind of jump to question number 5, the OCBs, if they're engaging in OCBs, so they're helping their classmates out. Those would all be things that you can use like on a yardstick to measure student performance. The second question, ultimate criterion versus actual criterion, and what it would mean if there was little overlap. So basically, and this one I know it caused a little bit of confusion. Basically, your ultimate criterion is every single thing that you can think of. So in this, I don't know if there was trying to assess the performance of an employee. So it would be all the performance issues that you could think of, everything. So excellent employee up here, poor employee down here. You have, say, a list of 30 things, right? You would, from those, take your most important and create your actual criterion. Your actual criterion are what you base your performance measures off of. So the ultimate criterion is just too broad. Like, you would spend so much time and so much money, and not all of it is important. So if you have a list of 30, you probably can break it down to a list of 10 where you can actually measure their performance well. You do in that 10, if you have an 11th that's very important and you need to measure it, you make it 11, right? Number 3, the author argues that many aspects are dynamic. How could this notion of dynamic criteria be applied to assessing performance of college students? That one was answered very well. So basically, you have your exceptional performance. It deteriorates a bit over the years. You could use that performance, those measures to kind of determine how they would act as an employee. So that's why a lot of times you have to provide your transcript, that sort of thing, references, because they are looking to see your performance throughout the years. Evaluation of subjective versus objective performance. So someone mentioned that, I think someone mentioned like all subjective performance reviews should be done away with. You do actually want to keep the subjective performance reviews because in the things that they write, there's tons of information. So you might not pay attention to Abby is always late, she always blah, whatever, because you understand that the person giving the review is giving it from a subjective viewpoint. But what if you have 5 different people giving the review and they all say Abby is always late? Chances are Abby is always late, right? More than that, though, you will find so much stuff. A lot of times when people write out their performance reviews, you find so much stuff in there that you want to pay attention to, that can just kind of talk about their performance in the workplace. And then lastly, hey, Cullen, hold on one second. I'm almost done. The last question is about OCBs. So OCBs in the workplace are good. They're actually really, really good. You do want to engage in them. Even if you do have someone performing counterproductive work behaviors and then they feel guilty when they're called out on them, so they perform OCBs to kind of counteract that. That's not a bad thing, right? OCBs only become bad when they interfere with the actual work that must be done. So if you have an actual job that must be done, but you're not finishing that because you are trying to help everybody else, that's when they become counterproductive and bad. In general, my opinion, if a coworker feels that your OCBs are annoying, that is their problem, not yours. Continue to do them. People do enjoy them and appreciate them. I will hop on tomorrow night and talk a little bit about your performance appraisal. If you only have one big question, it's, I think, taking it to the field on this, and then you're taking it to the field is on page 162. You want to do that. That goes over the bars system, and then I think I assigned a different type of performance appraisal for everybody to do for their job they chose via work analysis. Let me know if you have any questions about either of those, and I'll jump on tomorrow.